Go. So I am Admin Weiss. I apologize about how late this video is, but here it is. Well, let's get started and introduce the other admins.
Hello, this is Admin RWBY, and this is going to be my first and I guess last podcast of this volume of RWBY. And I look forward to joining my fellow admins for discussion tonight.
Hello, I'm Ironwood. I've been on this podcast a few times, so you all should know me.
Hi guys, Admin Pira here. This is the third time for Volume 3, and I'm stoked and sad.
This is Admin Mercury. This is, I think, my 5th time on the podcast, and the resident Sass Master.
Resident Sass Master.
Not wrong.
No, really not wrong at all.
No, not at all.
Okay, so to get things started, with Chapter 11 and 12, just general feelings of everything. Like, personally, I think it took a nosedive off a cliff of feels.
Yeah, I love tournament arcs in any show. So Volume 3, I loved it, and then right at the end.
Yeah, definitely took a very feels trip.
One could say I took a shot to the heart with the feels on that one.
And Cinder's to blame.
And Cinder's to blame, yep, that's for sure.
Damn it, Cinder!
So, to be honest,
he's the pun master.
Ew.
So, to be honest, the freaking lyrics predicted this the whole time, and we've just been ignoring it. Misery and pain for all. We should have seen that coming a mile away.
We really should. And I mean, even Pyrrha's, as it's been brought up before, Pyrrha's namesake, you look at the victory for, Cinder's victory, she kind of got owned by RWBY at the end, and yeah, was it worth it?
And if you guys are unsure of what Weiss is referring to, I did do a rant post that I can repost if anyone wants to see it. So comment below in the YouTube, and that can be redone. Or you can visit my Tumblr because it's also posted there.
Shameless.
It's everywhere.
The thing is, though, at the same time, Cinder's victory wasn't completely... she didn't get specific... She kind of got owned by RWBY at the same time she didn't, because if you look at everything that's happened, she still walks away pretty confidently with a secure victory. And all she really lost were Grimm and White Fang grunts that she really doesn't care about.
Yeah,
but we don't know what happened. We don't know what happened to Cinder because everything whited out.
Yeah, and I mean, it froze the dragon, so it begs the question of what happened to her.
Wait, well,
she's just frozen there, just holding her arms out, waving around.
Important part. None of this would have happened if Jean had kept his post.
God damn it, Jean! You had one job.
But then
One job, Sean! One job!
We would have lost him then, because she probably would have shot him.
Yeah, I have a feeling that if Jean went up against Cinder, especially in his current weak-ass state, he would have been slaughtered.
He could at least give, a warning, though. You know? He didn't do shit.
Yeah, he didn't
do anything. He
anything.
just turned around. He was like, Pyrrha, no! And we're like, dude, the door! Are you kidding me?
To be fair, if Cinder's arrows, even with them being able to disassemble, as it went through Pyrrha's shield, even if it was able to go through glass, it would have been able to go through John's shield.
Well, I mean, a shield is a lot stronger than glass, but at the same time, it could potentially have gone through his shield.
His shield, when you look at it, it actually is pretty thin.
It is, yeah, and especially if it's made to fold out, it would have to be.
Especially, yeah.
So that's a thing. So,
yep.
I guess we can thank Pyrrha for saving Jean's life at the cost of her own.
Yeah, I know.
Well, yeah. Well, we definitely know now is that John will end up being a complete badass because of the because of the training he had with Pyrrha.
You're not wrong, and especially with the factor of revenge running through him now.
Mm-hmm.
That is the
Yeah.
one thing I am highly disappointed with Rooster Teeth for.
Oh?
He's not
Because
showing it.
you see his mental breakdown before he even knows she's dead. He knows that she is in grave danger and that somebody needs to help her because she cannot take Cinder on alone.
Mm-hmm.
And then she dies. We watch Ruby's reaction, and then all of a sudden, a whole period of time later, and he meets up with Ruby, and he's just like, la-di-da-di-da. You can't tell me there wasn't an explosion of emotion from him when he found out she was dead.
Yeah, I wish they would have included that in their finale, or at least in some way, shape, or form, simply as a way to show his breakdown in a more
It's
realistic
possible
way.
it'll be a flashback at least.
Yeah, I'm definitely thinking flashbacks are going to be a big part of it for Jean in the next volume.
Yeah. Yeah, but,
I apologize
knowing,
that I'm eating.
One job
Good
here.
job eating during recording. But anyway,
Nom nom nom.
knowing Pyrrha, she would absolutely hate the idea of him going ballistic just because she died, because that like right before Pyrrha through both volumes was not only training Jean to be stronger physically, but also mentally and as confidence-wise.
Yeah, and I think Pyrrha would have preferred to have lost herself than to have lost Jean. It just really shows how deeply she cared about him.
Mm-hmm.
And while we're on this subject, I just want to bring up a few of the fans on RWBY Nation actually mentioned, like, man, like, why did Pyrrha go up there? Like, she knew, like, she couldn't win and that kind of thing. And I want to address the fact that that's just her character.
Mm-hmm.
You know, she wouldn't just accept defeat. You know, she would have to try, even if she knew that she would ultimately die. Like, that's just who she is.
Because she knew that if she didn't do something, a lot of people were going to get hurt.
Yeah, and so I feel like they say, like, you know, well, she died for nothing, and I just want to say, like, if they didn't have her go up there and try, like, that would go against the very nature of her character.
Yeah.
They needed to show that at some point it's not going to be fun for everyone, that death is inevitable, and they have to make it realistic by making that point across, that saying no one is safe from death.
And it's not just bad guys that can and will die, because good guys die in real life too.
Mm-hmm. And it brings up the point that they can't just go up against the big bad and, you know, claim victory, because there is a very realistic aspect of they're stronger than you.
Yeah.
You know what really ticked me off, like, through this and throughout I saw in this ending arc, when they were airlifting people out of the arena, there weren't only civilians on those ships. There were Beacon students as well, which was,
and Haven students and Vacuo students. Like, there were students from everywhere.
If you are training at a Hunter's Academy, why are you running away?
But at the same time,
they didn't have their weapons, if you notice that. All of them are all in civilian uniform.
Yeah, they're all in civilians for one, and at the same time, we don't know how far the Grimm evaluation scale goes, but we can assume that 9 is pretty high. Now, it was rated a Grimm Attack 9.
I think it's also important to note, like, not all of them will be, you know, juniors and seniors and that kind of thing. A lot of them could be freshmen, and they just won't be capable and ready to handle a full-on fucking invasion.
You're not wrong.
Yeah, so...
But at the same time, I am surprised that a lot of them did choose to just up and run. But
yeah, just a little bothered by that. I expected there to be at least a few more, like, you know, sticking back and attempting to help.
Yeah, because I mean,
Well, we know
Ironwood
Ron-
did give them the choice to either stay and fight or run, and they wouldn't be shamed for running because of the scale of the invasion. But I'm
Because
surprised
they are still
Yeah,
students.
but I am surprised that a lot of them didn't try and take a stand, because you think about it, if you're training to be a warrior, wouldn't bravery be a huge part of that?
Yeah, I kind of expected more of like a Battle of Hogwarts thing where like a solid quarter like stood back and fought, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Not gonna lie, I love the reference you just made.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Gryffindor reference.
If only to remove the statues that they wanted to summon.
Mm-hmm.
That they've been dying to wait to summon.
Yep. Yeah, it just
Bless
it
Thank you.
brings up the fact of they kind of use the whole thing to just show off the main characters more without showing that the entire world would kind of stand up.
Yeah. I can't remember his name. Who was the black and pink haired guy from
Ren?
Bronze?
Oh, from Braun.
Oh yeah, one of the bronze guys got dragged away by a Nevermore. That's explainable. His team is trying to get him back.
Yeah, they're trying to get him back.
Oh,
So.
damn! That is airfare we did not pay for.
That came out of nowhere.
Well, I think Roman might be saying the same thing right now.
You're not wrong.
Like he's inside of Nevermore right now. He is confirmed
His-
dead.
Griffin, actually.
Oh, Griffin, my apologies.
Griffin. His fate's a little harder to swallow.
Yeah.
Boo.
Boo. Bad joke.
I've
Bad
been sitting
joke.
on that for so long.
With Nadir being carried off, you can claim he used his weapon to, get free and presumably fall into the forest. But again, how did they start the initiations?
Yeah.
By launching them off a
Falling
cliffside.
strategy.
Falling strategy.
He's okay.
Well, I mean, is there a chance that Roman could come back? I'd say he has a definite bigger chance of coming back than Kira, but they did confirm him as dead.
And
How I feel about it though is like you have to keep in mind at that point Roman had like almost like full power and like, so his semblance should be fine. I would think your semblance would be able to like at least delay like indigestion and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
That's the thing, though. He
does
also
lead
got
to a
caught up in
question.
an explosion.
yes,
Because the whole ship crashed.
Boba Fett in the Sarlacc now.
it does lead to a question though. When they kill a Grimm, the Grimm bodies dissipate into shadow.
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
They've also been proven that they don't have to eat. It's purely an attack method. So when you're ingested, where do you end up?
Yeah, that is a big question. He could be in another dimension for all we know. He could be permanently gone.
He could have been, like, if it's like a miniature black hole inside them, he's done. He's gone. He was crushed to death. There's nothing left of him.
Yeah, that is a definite possibility.
So we know, spoiler alert, we know that with where Salem is, she's in some alternate plane location area.
Mm-hmm.
It's
This is gonna be very, very far-fetched, but whatever Grimm might eat teleports into that dimension.
There is that potential.
Though very unlikely, I would imagine. It'd be hard to imagine RWBY getting swallowed by a Grimm just to be able to go find Salem and kill her.
Yeah, that is kind of hard to believe. Like, as a possibility. But, I mean, we can't rule it out. We just don't know yet.
True.
Let's step back a little bit. Adam versus Blake.
Yeah, that is a fight I definitely want to talk about. That, oh my god. My
Bumblebee feels.
Yeah, the Bumblebee feels just... Adam's character in general is... he took a very dark turn, and he creeps me out. Not gonna lie, he really creeps me out now. And...
My opinion of him changed so much. Like, the trailer, he looked
Same.
so awesome. He was evil, but he was still awesome. And then episode 7, he's like, you feel sorry for him, like how you kind of felt sorry for Mercury, even though the events of episode 6. And you're like, okay, he's just getting blackmailed into all this. He's still kind of misguided and everything. And then episode 11, that goes straight down the drain, and you're going, no, 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 no.
Well, I think a large part of it is he is still extremely butthurt about Blake leaving. So maybe his entire hand with the oversight of the entire thing is because his hand was forced, but he saw an opportunity to get his revenge for her leaving him, and he took it.
Yeah, and the way he did it was absolutely brutal, and
Because
Yang has been officially disarmed.
how am I gonna cosplay her now? I still have 2 arms.
I can always chop one off for you.
I can fix that.
One could say I'm slightly attached to that, thanks.
But, I mean, at the same time, like, the amount of crap that came from that episode, I mean, Rooster Teeth even confirmed that Blake and Adam's relationship is, like, confirmed canon abusive, and it changed the whole dynamic, because everyone was like, oh, Adam's not a terrible person, like, he's on the wrong side, but we don't really know why. And then he turned into
Now
this
we
massive
know.
asshole.
I have a huge issue with that though, because
Language.
when Blake's trailer first came out, like, we saw that backstory, and when you look at it, he was corrupt, but he wasn't crazy. Like, he wasn't delusional. He wasn't obsessive over Blake. There was none of that remotely shown.
He was evil for his cause, but not what
like,
was later revealed.
That's why Adam was awesome, and that's why everyone took a liking to him.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm really pissed because, you know, way back in the day, they even said, I think it was Monty actually confirmed himself that they were, you know, mentor and you know, peer kind of thing. And then suddenly they're also ex-boyfriend and girlfriend, and it was abusive and that kind of, and I'm really irritated because, like, I'm so glad, like, RWBY is, like, a really feminist show, and I feel like they kind of, like, took a step back with this whole, using this, you know, this overused, trope of abusive ex-boyfriend, controlling, that kind of thing. And it's really irritating because RWBY's actually pretty original overall, and to use such an overused trope is it's irritating because I like their original complex, the dynamic between them, you know?
While irritating, and I agree, it can be irritating to a point, it also brings a very, very large sense of realism to the show. Because you look at most of your typical animes, whether they're American or Japanese in origin, and they don't tend to touch on stuff that people deal with on an everyday basis, where Monty's like, I don't care, this is part of Blake's backstory, and what made her, it's sticking. And it's something that people deal with all the time.
And I definitely think it sends, like, a very heavy-hitting message that, like, and everyone looks at it and they're like, that's not okay. And I think it really does build Adam as a villain. Do I agree with the way they did it, per se? No. I don't really like it. Do I think they changed his character too much? Do I think they gave into cliche to a degree? Yes.
Yeah.
But they are really building him as a universal hated character. It's almost like, and you're going to hate me for bringing this up, but Hans in Frozen, how everyone hated him because he took such a route of everyone knows how much it would hurt if someone said that.
Yeah.
And that's what makes it relatable, and everyone relates it to true evil.
At the same time, this also is reinforcing the fact that RWBY is taking a turn for the worst, and that it is getting significantly darker.
Yeah, and yeah.
That makes me happy.
Yeah, it makes me happy, but at the same time, I miss the lightheartedness of the, like, previous 2 volumes, because it took such a quick turn.
I think they could have done a lot better with the pacing. Like, it felt like halfway through this volume, all of a sudden everything's hitting the fan. And I would have liked more of a steady progression to that, because I like the fact that it's turning darker, but I don't think they handled the pacing of it well.
Mm-hmm.
The English major in me has to disagree with that for one large reason, and that's being Monty admitted that a lot of his inspiration were pulled from fairy tales, especially the Grimm tales. And Grimm tales were traditionally extremely dark in nature. But the only thing that was dark about them was the ending. They began light and fluffy because they were meant for children, to scare them into behaving, to teach them morals and lessons. So they started fluffy so that the kids would be like, yeah, I get to listen to a story from Grandma. And then all of a sudden you take a nosedive right out of a plane and it's like, oh, I don't want that to happen to me. So the part of me that is screaming, yes, is they're very much following the traditions laid forth by the style in which this show is based on.
Yeah, and I do like how the villain's plan just kind of came out of nowhere and the heroes didn't see it coming a mile away. It adds the...
Like Disney?
Yeah, like, it kind of adds to the part where you're not always going to know that darkness is coming. It could be right around the corner and you just don't really know. And I do like that part, but I do feel that it came on really quick in essence of how light and fluffy it was before.
Like, there were like subtle nods to it, and it slowly and they slowly showed off what was happening, and then this was like the ultimatum, because this is the show. Because if you think about it, it sounds like it's going slow, but this was the perfect time to do this, because okay, let's think about this. What is the Vital Festival about?
You're not wrong. It does have everyone there. It's a huge world stage. It's about peace and cooperation and kind of showing off your strength. But it was the perfect time.
The Vital Tournament was pretty much a peace treaty that started on the island of Vital, and because when the war ended, they broke off into the Four Kingdoms and started their own schools. And when the schools started, the Vital Tournament was a way of showing that they were still at peace, that they were willing to protect what they had brought around through that treaty, and it was a way of showing their letting their students test their power and their strength against people of like power and strength. And they built the floating island that I cannot remember the name of to save my life
Amity
right now.
Coliseum.
Thank you. They built the Coliseum because it was able to move so that they wouldn't have to go to the island of Vital every single time every 2 years.
It really does make sense, and yeah, it is just a huge peace thing and testing your might and everything. Like, it is a huge example, but because it was a world stage, like whether it was intended to be in the beginning or not, it became a world stage, and it therefore became the perfect place to launch what Cinder had planned.
Yeah. Okay. CCT Tower. We heard there was a World of Remnants saying that, well, basically explaining what the CCT Tower was, and I kind of talked about this in an earlier podcast, where the CCT Tower was built by Atlas. I'm awesome, by the way.
You just built everything.
I'll disagree on that awesomeness thing. You don't have my hair or my sass.
Okay.
Yeah, but
CCT,
look at Ironwood.
He is the Iron Daddy. Yes, I had to bring that up.
Iron Daddy.
Bam.
The CCT built by Atlas and gifted to the other kingdoms. They even said flat out that this was the to attack us. Like, all of the kingdoms were coming together for this festival. And then what did she do? She started to see their tower, which cuts off communication from all of the other kingdoms.
All of the kingdoms are no longer with communication.
And it was almost like they said in that World of Remnant, if one falls, they all go.
All fall.
They either speak equally or not at all.
Yeah, like and the Vital Festival. Everyone's here talking about peace and tranquility, but also showing off power.
Your audio's coming in fuzzy, by the way. It's like
It
really
is.
muffled.
Yeah.
And kind of patchy.
Everyone's cut off. Chaos is ensuing.
That's better.
What's
There we
gonna
go.
happen?
Yeah, and it's like the entire Vital Festival kind of became a giant, and pardon my language here, it became a shit show. I mean,
Hey, you caught on to the language.
yes,
earlier.
I
There we
understood that
go.
reference.
Where's Captain America when we need him?
Exactly. We'll just have to
Currently fighting a civil
we'll just
war.
have to deal with Captain Canada over here.
Who are
we
you
have is
referring
You,
to?
Miss Sorry.
All we have is Florida, man.
That is bad, and you should
Hey,
feel
I had
bad.
to make a shameless plug.
I'm sorry.
But, like, it became a shit show. We had Yang blowing out Mercury's later found out to be artificial kneecap, and then we had Penny, thanks to Emerald's semblance, ripping apart Penny completely.
Goodbye, sentient
Yeah, our
toaster.
sentient toaster.
Oh God, pure bagel.
Yeah. Oh. And
I gotta remember that fan's name. Who
And
said
then
that?
in the finale, we had to hire a
Oh,
dustbuster because we were left with a pile of ash that used to be Pyrrha.
We aren't even sure that we were left with a pile of ash. Everything just went.
You're destined to win.
Hey, she kind of dissipated like Grimm when they get killed. What if Pyrrha was a Grimm the whole time? No, I'm just
Hey
kidding.
now.
Conspiracy
Well, I
theory.
take offense to that.
So no
That'd
wonder
be
we
like
killed you.
the best cover up ever, you know?
That is a
So
very
no, what-
grim
That is a
theory.
very grim theory, but we don't really know what happens when a hunter or huntress dies.
Becomes incinerated.
Apparently. That was good.
So Grim disappeared into Black Shadow while Cinder put her hand on Pyrrha, and what happens to her? She turns into
Nothing.
golden embers. The exact opposite.
That also probably created a really, really bad Pyrrha and Cinder shipping. I'm just gonna throw that out there.
Yeah, it has, and it is
and
not
it's-
okay.
It's disturbing. I mean, she literally murdered her, and then a ship erupts out of it.
Oh yeah.
It's not as bad as what Junior said earlier. There's a winter
My,
amp ship, and that makes no sense.
My Cinder Fallen Angel picture, I remember that.
No, I do not ship it. I do not
No.
ship it at all.
No.
The only
I'm
person
not
Cinder
down
should be
with that.
shipped with is me. Let's just get that on. I
Keep
dance
Keep her,
with
she's
her.
yours. Take her.
I will
Right here.
applaud
All
that
yours.
Mercury, like, awesome plug there.
English.
No,
do you
apparently
speak
not
it?
very well.
Nope,
not
not
today.
today.
Okay.
I only speak English.
So, I would like to backtrack just a little bit, because, we had a kind of a theme going and then we got onto another topic. But let's talk about, the death of Pyrrha, bringing her back petitions.
Oh, no. Oh,
no,
God.
no,
Oh,
you do
no.
not want to
With
get
this
me on that
petition.
subject. That is not a safe subject.
Okay,
That petition needs to
what
burn
I will
up like
say...
Pyrrha.
This is the whole reason why we need to talk about it, though, because, you know, this, this was, before, this was after our last podcast, so, like, we gotta cover all the basics.
we really should cover it.
I
As
guess,
much as I
yeah.
don't want to cover it, because it's so retarded.
Annoying
Stupid.
and rude and
Yeah,
disrespectful.
but we should cover it, and,
Yeah.
and I'll just say this as my kind of plug towards it. Your petition, it doesn't matter how many signatures you get, they're not going to change anything about the show.
They've already said that.
If you don't like where the
Haven't-
show's
I never
going,
got-
don't watch it. If you like it, if you can deal with it, if you can still enjoy it, then keep going. Like, they are
Go
under
hard.
no obligation to change anything because of your petition. And honestly, the petition I find is disrespectful and rude to the creators. As Pyrrha's voice actor, whose name escapes me,
Jen Brown.
Jen Brown.
confirmed, it was Monty's
Yep.
vision from the get-go to have Pyrrha go that way.
Actually, she was supposed to die earlier than she did, and she
Same
didn't.
with Roman.
Roman.
Yep.
Yeah,
He was supposed to die in the very first episode.
Yeah, like
Really? Oh wow.
Roman originally was going to be a one-off character, but Rooster Teeth loved the voice actor and the character so much, they kept him
But yeah, I'll say
for a
that
while.
I don't like the petition, and that's gonna be my plug about it. I don't know how you guys feel. I feel you have similar views, but
Ditto.
I'll go
yeah,
next.
yeah,
I
go right
guess.
ahead, Mercury.
It's basically what Weiss said, that no matter how many signatures you get, one, Pyrrha's actor confirmed it, she's not going to be coming back, so that's already definite proof. Two, you're going against the original dream that Monty had. And thirdly, Miles and Carrie know what that dream is, and they're not going to submit to pressure to change that dream. So I have undying faith in those two, that they are not. The most they would do probably is flashbacks or some sort of hallucination like Emerald can create. That is perfectly fine.
Yeah, that's within the realm of
But
not
Miles-
breaking the story, so I'll agree with you there.
Yeah, but Miles and Carrie
Yes,
and the whole crew aren't going to submit to pressure just because everyone's complaining about it. They know what the goal is, and they're going to go for it regardless of what people say about it.
I think it's important to
So
note.
Metal Legs knows what he's talking about.
I think it's important to note that, like, the whole basis of her character was to die for the greater good. So if you try and undo that, I mean, her whole purpose just disappears. And while you know it was an amazing death in the sense of, like, you know, being climactic and it fit the character
And even
and
just
all that,
animation in general.
I'm actually more bothered by Roman's death. I know he was supposed to die. I'm cool with that. But it was so anticlimactic, I actually have an issue with that.
Yeah, it would have been even better.
Well, they built him into such a huge character. They kept him because they liked the way that Gray voiced him. So they gave him a more integral part.
But at the same time,
Monty was fine with that.
I think it would have been better even if it was just the dragon that ate him. Even if it was just same abruptness, but the griffin was replaced with the dragon. I think it still would have been better.
That'd been pretty cool. That would have scared the crap out of me, but it would have been
I think it still would have been better.
So, I mean, how I feel is, like, you can kill off almost any character, and I'll be fine with it if you do it properly. And I really feel like Roman's was just so abrupt and rushed and anticlimactic. Like, I'm actually really bothered by his death and not Pyrrha's.
In all honesty, I know this is going to sound horrible, I wish she would have been taken out by Ruby herself.
Yeah, I think it was a great opportunity to drive Ruby's character forward, and they didn't take it.
No, they didn't.
They replaced that though with having her witness.
Yeah, you're not wrong.
That takes away innocence in a completely different way.
That's true.
By taking out Roman herself, that completely shows that she has a side that's dark enough that she will kill someone if she knows it's for the best of the people that she loves and the home that she's trying to protect. She lost a different kind of innocence in losing Pyrrha like that. That just shattered her view of
Though at the
good
same
and
time,
bad.
we don't really know what happened after the glowing eyes incident. She could have.
She doesn't remember
could
much.
have potentially tried to go in for the kill on Cinder. We don't know.
We don't
Nobody
know.
knows. Nobody knows. Except Cinder.
And she ain't talking till next season.
Oh,
Nope. If she talks at all.
well, on this subject, I would like to mention something that my own, you know, real life Yang pointed out, and it has to do with, like, loss and battle damage and that kind of thing. It's interesting because I never even thought about it, but Ruby is sort of turning into, you know, an OP Mary Sue. And let me make my points, and then everyone can get on in it. You know, Yang lost an arm. Blake got freaking stabbed. You know, Weiss, you know, jumped in, protected Velvet. She at least suffered some fatigue. But then, you know, Ruby's going through all this, and she doesn't really suffer, like, anything, like, physically, and that kind of does bother me a little bit. What are your thoughts on it?
But remember, Crow, this awesome huntsman, who my theory is that along with Taiyang, he teaches at Signal Academy. He comes in. He's able to take RWBY before anything happens.
There is potential
So,
for that, but at the same
just
time, I really would like to see
just
RWBY have a little bit more adversity in
earlier.
her own life. Is she dealing with a lot of things? Yeah, she had to witness Pierre's death. That would do it to on anyone. But she didn't have any physical
So
trauma. And I mean, Weiss really didn't either. But
at least Weiss had like fatigue after the fight, but RWBY like still goes up to the top of the tower, and I don't know. It feels
RWBY
like
didn't.
she
Sorry.
should have suffered at least like bruises.
Mhm.
You know what I'm saying? Like it doesn't even have to be a fucking arm cut off, but she should have some sort of battle damage after all that she did do.
I want to point out that. Sorry if I'm interrupting, but we have to think about it first. She didn't really sustain any injuries until she went up against Roman and Neo, and she most definitely was beat up by that.
Yeah.
Then afterwards you have her. Basically, you skip ahead. She doesn't do anything until she's freezing the dragon, and at that point, she's knocked out for an undisclosed amount of time. That could honestly, I'm thinking like maybe a week or two that she
If
might
not
have been.
more.
Yeah, that she was
Yeah,
knocked out. By that point, her
yeah.
aura healed her, but at the same time, she's dealing with the mental trauma now of seeing Pyrrha die, and Yang's
Disarmed.
enthusiasm on life just plummet.
You're not wrong. She's dealing with more of a mental battle than
Yeah, like,
a physical one.
I also wonder,
And
because Crow makes the point that she has a specific power that we really don't know a lot about. What if her being able to continue through battle without fatigue is part of that power? Because they're supposed to be an ultimate
That is
warrior.
potential as well.
Back at Volume 1,
Like,
when... Sorry.
Or not over now, because remember, RWBY, after using the power, she immediately passed out for at least a week, and then even after she woke up, she stayed in patch for maybe about through the end of fall and some into winter. So because you can seem like she was still recovering, because remember when she leaves Tai, we're gonna go back to Tai. But I'm just saying this to fill in the point. Tai comes in. He has a bunch of like food land to help. Well, assumingly to help her get back.
You're not
strength.
wrong.
Yeah.
That's her point.
So we can definitely tell that it took time for her to recover. So I guess, Pyrrha's point of potential of not getting fatigued in battle could come up. But what if after the battle it all kind of catches up to her and she has to recover from all of it all at once?
Yeah, before I forget, because I just forgot and then remembered, but while we're on this, can we talk about how, even though I'm sure it was traumatic for RWBY to witness Pyrrha's death, we were never really shown any sort of real character development or relationship between the two, and I feel like that kind of undercuts the emotional story that they were going for.
Yeah, I can definitely agree with you on that. Is we never really saw, at least on screen, the relationship between RWBY and Pyrrha grow, basically at all.
Yeah.
I just had a really dark idea. Imagine if instead of RWBY, it was Jean's team.
But again, they did miss another opportunity here. Did RWBY need a huge power upgrade? Not overly. But what character really did? Jean. He needed that power upgrade. We haven't seen his semblance yet. As far as we know, it hasn't even awakened yet.
Although there have been hints that, just going off on a tiny tangent here, there have been hints that Jean's semblance in itself is that he has a lot of aura, which is he is able to heal a lot faster.
Yeah, we know
than
that
others.
much, but I really want to know what his semblance is, and I think that would have been the perfect opportunity for them to reveal it. It really begs the question for me of how they're going to reveal it in the future.
With more heartbreaking, painstaking agony.
Probably.
That's how.
But anyways, we are coming
Jerks.
closer to our time limit for the episode, so I'm going to close it off with a final question, and that is, what are your anticipations for Volume 4?
Not
A
good
really
things.
a really awkward Yang and Blake
Yeah, I think that's
reunion.
definitely going to be coming in sometime Volume 4.
Mhm.
Also, I wanted to bring this up earlier, but we had to skip over it. Weiss managed to summon part of the night. I want her
Yay!
something to
Yeah,
hold.
I want to
I
see...
want that to happen.
For one, I want to see Weiss's face when she does it. Like, she already knows that it is the night. You can tell when she looked up and saw the arm that she knew what it was.
Yeah.
That look on her face, though, was so great. It's like, I'm
Yep.
done with this.
So
You're
I think
done
we
with
can
this
definitely
shit.
expect to see more summoning awesomeness by Weiss. We can expect more heartbreak after Volume 3's progression. But what else are...
I'm sure Jean's semblance will also come
but-
in at some
Yeah,
point.
I feel it has to. They've been kind of playing us along for 3 volumes now. But anyways, what else? Like general moods that you think will be present, themes. Do you think we'll see more of Salem?
Ooh, Salem.
Possibly.
Chances are good.
Yeah. Like personally, like I'm a big fan of world building, so I am very excited to see Mistral and Haven, and possibly even the other kingdoms. So, ooh, yeah. The Haven students can come and meet them and like just show them around and while Ranger can just tell them about what's going on and they can possibly help out. I don't know.
Yeah.
I think
That'd be
Sun
pretty
already.
ballin'.
Team Sun's from there. I'm pretty sure they're kind of up to date on what happened. Just not what Ranger is going to.
But that might be a
what
way
they're
for them
planning
to
on doing.
get Team Sun back into the next volume.
I miss them. I mean, how
That's
will we
probably
ever
how
know
they're
if?
gonna get back.
How will we ever know if Scarlet got sand in his shoes? Which
You're
are
not
actually
wrong. We
boots?
gotta know if he got sand in his shoe.
The thing
It's
is, though,
killing me,
Sage won't-
man.
But the real question is Sage still a sword bros with Yatsuhashi?
Yeah,
Oh, of course.
Oh,
Besties forever.
That's a definite yes.
yeah. There's so many questions, but anyways, we haven't really heard Ruby's thoughts on the next volume yet. So I'm gonna ask her personally.
She wants Ladybug. She wants Ladybug.
Ladybug and Rose Arc have been my OTPs since Volume 1. But anyway, besides that, first of all, I mean, obviously, something's gonna happen with Yang. Is she gonna get a robo arm? Like, something has to happen, because I don't see her taking on Grimm and stuff with, one gauntlet and that kind of thing.
It would leave an entire side of her
another thing-
undefended.
Yeah.
Yang goes to Atlas and Ironwood helps her out by giving her
That
an
would
arm,
make sense.
just like his.
Yeah.
It would give her an arm up.
I'm thinking that just because they showed the mechanical body of Ironwood, well, half mechanical.
Which is completely ballin', by the way.
So I mean, I think if they're going with what to be expected, they definitely put it in the same time slot as Yang getting her fucking arm chopped off.
Language.
Language.
No, I curse anyway.
This
but
is
anyway.
now PG-13 podcast. Yeah,
Well, I mean,
we're already there.
So it's yeah.
We're
Another
halfway
thing
there.
that really bothered me was the end of Volume 2. We see Raven show up, and we're like, oh, we'll see some Raven. And we don't see any Raven at all in Volume 3. So I'm wondering if, like, Salem's going to be the same thing. Oh, Salem at the end of Volume 3, and then Volume 4 comes along, we don't see her again.
I think that might be a thing.
But yeah, there were hints earlier in the volume that Raven's hiding out in Mistral.
How Mistral? That I don't get.
Oh no. But it doesn't really matter where she's hiding out, but we do know she's hiding out somewhere. I don't remember if Crow said anything or not, but we know he's hiding out.
He just said she's hiding.
Yeah. So,
Oh, that reminds me. I still got over this weekend / spring break that I'm going on next week. I will finally upload the video of me hitting my head against the wall because Raven did not show up like I promised.
Yeah, you owe us that.
Yeah, you owe us.
So we'll be on the lookout for that.
Wow, just like so quick to snap at me.
Sorry, Merc.
That's something.
That's
something to look
I was
forward
sick,
to.
okay? I need to recover before I'm at my max performing capability when I'm hitting my head
You're
into
not
a
wrong.
wall for you people.
Aw, it's okay, Merc. I still love you.
That's something to look
anyway,
forward to while the hiatus is going on.
Volume 4, I really want to know what Sean's semblance is. I want to find that out. I want to know, like, more about Ruby's silver eyes, because, yeah, we now know that it makes her slightly OP, but I want more than just, oh, it's a huge power-up. Like, I want more
I would
backstory
honestly
for it.
wouldn't be surprised to find out if that was Crow kind of pushing the maiden story aside, because Ruby currently doesn't know it.
True. Ooh.
I'm sure she would have been told as.
But she would understand. She might understand the fairy tale itself, but she might not understand the truth
like
behind
as far
it.
as we know, the only student that
like, she doesn't know it
knows
actually
that it's
exists.
real was Pyrrha, and she's not really around anymore.
Yeah, that doesn't do
So-
anybody any good. I'm on permanent hiatus.
Oh,
I
Yeah.
still,
Afterlife.
Anyways, we are currently at our time constraint for this episode, so
Can I
yeah.
bring up one small thing that
Okay,
I
bring it up.
currently
Bring it up.
posted to the
This will
page?
be our last point.
yes.
oh,
Okay,
that.
So
I
I
remember.
was sitting in my room, chilling like a villain with my boyfriend last night, and we're watching these awesome RWBY AMVs because Weiss inspired me while I was writing out my
Yay.
daily logs. And he throws at me, "Holy damn, Crow!" And I'm like, I know this is not the person who's posted. Crow did not post this. And he's like, no, stop and think about it for a second. Crow saved Amber. He's seen Cinder's and Emerald's and Mercury's faces before. Why didn't he say something when he saw them at the tournament? When his niece was going up against one of them in the singles rounds. I was like, holy hot damn. Which
Conspiracy.
makes you wonder, what are his motivations? And people are saying, oh, Emerald blurred out their faces. He came out of nowhere. You cannot tell me that she was able to enact her semblance fast enough when a surprise attack came out of the blue and was able to blur out their faces fast enough that he didn't get a glimpse of them.
No, he totally saw them.
But if you
That's-
think
No,
about it,
wait, no, here's.
but
Or
what would
you wanna go
happen
ahead?
if a high-ranking hunter like Crow crouched down onto the battlefield, quote unquote, protecting his niece?
I'm not saying that he had to do it then, but he could definitely have gone to Ozpin.
No, but yeah, like, what would the Mistral Council have to say?
The thing
about
is,
that?
did they even know they were there?
Like
Why
I,
Mistral Council?
they
Why is
had
it always
been.
Mistral?
Well, didn't
Because Mistral
didn't
is
Cinder
mischief.
say that she hailed from Mistral?
Yes.
Yes, she did.
Oh,
Which makes a lot of sense. But if you stop and think about it, you cannot tell me that in the time that he's been there, he has not seen them around campus. The students are everywhere. They have to participate in classes. They have to participate in what's going on at Beacon. He is currently all over Beacon. You can't tell me he hasn't seen them somewhere before. You can't tell me that they haven't been to the fairgrounds, because they have. It's been proven that at least
Yeah.
two of them were there. Why didn't he go to
He actually
Ozpin?
only physically got to the Beacon campus in the big after the festival started, though, and Cinder's group has been there since the beginning of Volume 2, though, because because it was a plot point in Volume 2 that that semester is when all of the students from the different academies come to visit, just because the point of the festival was like to show off like what the different cultures and what
Yeah,
each kingdom
you're not wrong,
is like.
but it does still raise a question. If Crow had seen them, which is a definite possibility, and even after the singles round,
This is my
why didn't he go to Ozpin and at least share the dangers and the identities of these dangerous people?
This is my response, and it's the same
Spy,
response
close your
on
mouth.
It's the same response as the one on the page, because I'm a smooth criminal.
Okay,
You can't touch me.
I can't think of a better line for that like response.
Oh,
I've
guys.
been had.
guys. Can we talk about Ruby Silver Eyes freezing? Do you think that means that maybe she's the
Oh.
Winter Maiden?
I never thought of that.
Perhaps.
She's too
How could
fiery
you not?
to be the Winter Maiden, because again it was kind of shown off in the World of Remnant that each maiden has a we talked about we talked about this in a previous podcast, that each maiden kind of has a personality that each maiden shares. Like, for example, the Winter Maiden's like calm and collected, and knows what she's thinking at the time, because she was introduced being quiet, while the Summer or the Spring Maidens were a little more.
That would make
energetic.
sense, but we don't know much about Summer Rose and Ozpin and the World of Remnant video. Did state
Anyone.
that it kind of transfers over to the last person they think of if they're eligible.
So,
Or some random girl.
so what do you think of the idea that Summer Rose was at one point a maiden while she
Very,
was
very
alive?
viable.
Very viable.
Very highly.
Yeah,
Not
yeah,
the winter one. I could see her being
definitely.
spring.
Yeah. The question is,
Like roses bloom in
which
spring. That
maiden
sort of
was she?
I think spring. Summer, it's kind of a
Yeah,
rip-off.
Summer would be too much of a ripoff.
Yeah.
I think, though, I still have the semi-belief that Salem is a corrupted
That
winter
very well
maiden.
could be. We don't really know. That is another fan
Ooh.
theory that we might have to explore further. But
But is it possible that maidens can lose their abilities when they turn? Which I have no other way to put this than.
yeah, we don't really know.
Oh, I thought for a second there you were going to say when they get old. I was like, that
Well,
is not
Crow
okay.
did joke that Glinda was too old.
That's why I never asked girls.
So this begs another question, though.
We're currently
Wait, how much time do we
sitting
have?
a little over our time cap, but we can finish up one more topic.
Alright.
With all of this, are there any cases of the maidens turning dark? And if they do
We
they
don't
in fact
know.
lose their power?
There
That we know of
hasn't
anyways.
been a case yet.
hmm
It's all
It's all
speculation.
fan theory at this point,
All
and we really
speculation.
won't know much more until Volume 4. But it just shows how far Rooster Teeth has pushed our minds to try and figure out what's going on. And I really do enjoy that part of RWBY. Like, you don't really know what's going on until they show you what's going on. Mm-hmm.
Kind of like Kingdom Hearts.
You're not wrong.
Wow, I did not see it going that far.
This is why you need my sass.
Your sass is our best friend. We need it in our lives. It's our sustenance.
Like Nation, if you only knew what he was like in our personal chat.
They get hints of it every once in a while when Ruby decides I need to post this.
I really like screen
Nothing wrong with that.
capping, okay?
I was so stuck
I
in
honestly
that situation.
I honestly think that we need to do it more often because they
Hey, that might be an idea, but we can't go too overboard with it.
They're like the one with what was it? My flapping breast around.
That spawned because my friend keeps telling me his key line is titties are not pockets. Mine and White's friend Jesse Borley.
He's currently sitting in my bedroom,
but he keeps telling me titties are not pockets, and I he got a shout out. He's currently sitting in the same room as Weiss, but he's always been telling me titties are not pockets because I have a bad habit of storing everything in my bra, and I finally can see. I'm like, fine, titties are not pockets, but my bra is. And I had to tell Ruby about this because it randomly popped up in conversation, and then it just kind of escalated in the chat.
And then I was just like, yeah, I store my breasts in them almost every day.
Exactly. They are pockets. Nobody can contest this. If Ruby says so, it is final.
Exactly.
And then I realized I was the only male in chat. I just pointed out.
He's just like, what do I do now?
And then Tai Yang popped in, and he's like, I'll be there in a moment. And then I just started flapping my breasts around.
I'm your father. That's the situation.
You guys are breaking stuff.
Oh, guys. I went back in the timeline to see those screenshots. One of the comments was, girl pockets are the worst.
Oh, that reminds me. Our person that made the Pura bagel thing,
we
that
have to give him a shout out as well for that.
Yes. What happened is somebody, I can't remember which admin it was, but they posted a picture of Jean and Cinder, and I was like, you stay away from my man, he is grieving. And
is that Ironwood?
I think it was, actually. But I called Cinder an overrated toaster oven, and they're like, what does that make you? Overrated toast? I'm like, actually, I'd rather be a bagel. And he edited it so that Pura's hair was on a bagel and her eyes were X'd out. John was a piece of toast with John's hair. And he was like, Pura! And then Cinder was a toaster that was going, ha 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 ha. It was great. Anyways, I will post them to the page later.
And
they were beautiful.
We have the adminship of Pura and Ruby now. And I'm the cream cheese to her bagel.
As we talk about our page, I think it's the perfect way to bring this all to a close, as we can mention that if anyone found us on YouTube first, they can go and like our Facebook page as well. RWBY Nation, obviously.
And they can see
they can see all this chaos, and it'll be glorious. But anyways,
and don't forget, guys, keep your eyes open. We're currently about 800 likes away from 20,000 likes, and when we hit 20,000, we'll be bringing on
below 700 actually.
Woo, it's changed from this morning. That makes me happy. Yay! But we'll be bringing on new admins, and keep your eyes open because as the new event coordinator for the page, I have a really cool event for March.
And we might do a special podcast in response to it.
All the madness.
I'm kind of tossing that idea around. Anyways,
to the event,
either or maybe both.
Admins?
I don't know.
Or it being March Madness.
Why not both?
We will converse about this in our private time.
You have a chance, but anyways, that's I think the perfect way to bring this all to a close. So we'll stop it there, and we will see you next time for all these shenanigans. Bye, everyone.